Hello everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Lung. With me as always is my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I'm good. I'm alive.
Happy?
Content.
Oh, content. Contento.
You remember from last week, which for us was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Contento. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So,
good job.
This is episode 70, and if you don't know, every 10 episodes, Jake and I come up with an idea for a TV show off the top of our head. And I have a new thing that I thought of last episode, but I didn't say until right now. We should make it a tradition that we cast ourselves as characters in each of our shows.
Oh.
From now on, you know?
Interesting.
So
okay.
It's like at the end, we pick which characters we're gonna play.
Do you mean like a cameo?
I think...
Whoa, you mean like literally you say like who is what? Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. If we're just like, yeah, I'm gonna play the donkey. You know?
Well, hey, do you... Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I can imagine,
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna pick you for certain characters because of your personality or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna do it just because your voice and if I think which would fit.
Yeah, it would just be
which
fun.
character would fit your
It's
voice.
just for fun, you know? Like, for the Deadshot show, I'll play Killer Moth and you can play Condiment King.
Yes, I was hoping you'd say Condiment King.
Badass.
That's secretly my life's aspiration, is to play Condiment King. I don't want to play him like, in live action, because I don't want to do that. But like animated, I just want to voice him.
That'd be pretty good. I want the suit.
I don't think I can do live action acting. That sounds like a lot of work.
I think you could do it if
But
you
voice
just had the
acting.
suit and everything. Yeah, it's just like most of your face is covered up with goggles and shit. Ketchup.
Maybe if they want me, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Robert
You sold me.
Pattinson.
I get to wear the suit, and then I can steal it after, so it's probably worth it.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson's the next Robert Pattinson Batman movie.
It's gonna beat the shit out of me.
For real, in real life.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna let him too.
Yeah.
Just gonna be like, yeah, sure, why not?
And then
punch me.
be like, please, thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah.
Can I get your autograph, please? Oh, you're just gonna punch me again. Okay, that's good enough.
That works, The bruises are kind of like an autograph.
Yeah. But so we have to come up with a show off the top of the dome.
We're procrastinating right now.
Off the top of the dome.
You didn't say that at first, and I was hopeful that you wouldn't say it. You said off the top of the head, and I was so happy.
I was saving it. So I think we should do something we haven't done in a while, is some post-apocalyptic. You know?
Oh, interesting.
Because I've been playing a lot of Fallout New Vegas again. Because it's a great game. I just recently repurchased the Old World Blues DLC, which is the DLC for Fallout New Vegas, where you have to fight aliens, or not aliens, like robots and stuff, and skeletons and stuff. So I think, we should do maybe not a Fallout show, but we should do a post-apocalyptic show, universe, set somewhere cool, I think, because I think too many...
so not Earth.
Well, maybe Earth, but not America. Because most...
I got it. Post-apocalyptic Mars, because there used to be a society there.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
They're all dead.
I'd say yes.
And except for a couple people. And they were vastly in the future to us. And so while, for Mars, they're in a post-apocalyptic society, on Earth, it's just like normal 2000s life.
Oh, but that's lame.
No, but that's not where the show is. The show's not about Earth.
Yeah.
But it's like, Mars. Like, so you would think, like, while you're watching this show, you'd be like, as a kid, you'd be like, oh my god, this is what's happening on Mars right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe it's post-apocalyptic Mars, but they've got 90s technology. It's got like flip phone, like they've got Matrix technology. They still use like phone boxes and stuff, that sort of thing.
But it's interesting. Okay.
So, they could still... There's no overwhelming government. There's no, law and order. But people still have cell phones. And,
But they're weirdly futuristic in other things. Like, they got laser guns and stuff.
Yeah, they have laser guns, but they're like... Think about if the Matrix people were making laser guns. So they're all still...
Where are you going with that?
They're still weirdly, tactile and analog. They still have to and stuff like that, but it shoots lasers, and it's like that.
Yeah,
that
it's
weird
like
plastic.
It's like you have to spin it up or something.
Oh, yeah.
To like generate, the electricity, and then you shoot. So it's like it's got the practicality of a bolt action rifle, but you don't pull back a bolt. You like spin a chamber.
Yeah.
Or yeah. So then it's like you generate enough for it, and then you shoot.
You do a laser musket.
Yeah, a laser musket like from Fallout.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because then you could argue that like, I was gonna say you could have unlimited, charge, but maybe it'd be interesting to have ammo, because then you could, have the idea that it's a scarcity of it.
But the ammo is like.
I think it'd be cool if you could have crazy mutant monsters too.
That all.
Because Mars is a very sandy planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we could have like big sandy monsters, like giant worms or something. I don't know.
You take like Earth animals, and you put them in Mars, and you wait a couple million years, and you see what happens. Like they evolve to Martian atmosphere and
Well, it'd be interesting to see if they're vastly different. Like you can't really compare them to Earth animals because they're from Mars.
Yeah, or like
so you got like a fucking 8-armed
armadillo,
hairy bear-looking thing that has like a turtle shell in the back or something.
Yeah, it'd be pretty good. And they like swim through the sand like a shark.
Yeah.
And
sand sharks. Yes, I love that idea.
That is pretty good. And maybe like there's like all sorts of. Because Martian gravity is different, there's like obviously there would be like there are Earthlings who have come to Mars, and then there's Martians, and the Martians are like longer and weirder looking, but they're like more adapted to the planet, That'd be pretty cool.
I think it'd be interesting if the Martians are always heavily clothed as well, because it's like a desert planet. So it's sort of a mystery what they actually look like until maybe later in the show.
Yeah, like during.
So like they have like desert wear on, like long cloths and fabrics, and they have like big goggles on, like kind of very steampunky.
Yeah, like steampunk Western.
Yeah,
like desert sort of stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So like you got like welding goggles and shit like that, and like cowboy hats and stuff.
Like, yeah, that'd be cool. Well, like the cowboy hats are like space cowboy hats. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like, it doesn't look like a cowboy hat. It looks more like a mix between a cowboy hat and like
those rice farmer hats that they wore. The rice
interesting.
But it was like, it's also cowboy hat style. I don't know.
That's not what I was thinking, but I like that too. Yeah. I was thinking like 1800s European
buckles
hats were like, they have like the big admiral wide hat, what I mean?
Yeah.
We could have a nice mixture of new hats that we invent for the show.
Oh my god, so many new hats.
Yeah. But you got them because it's a very sandy planet, so you got to wear your hats and your goggles so you can see and walk around.
And maybe it's like Firefly, it's all different mixtures of different cultures because,
Yeah.
Mars is a melting pot society in this civilization. Maybe it's like Earth there's some sort of like apocalyptic situation that happened on Earth that led to most of the world governments falling or like congregating into this one united world government that's trying to take back the planet. And because Earth like lost contact with Mars kind of fell into like a medieval, Wild West sort of situation where they have sci-fi technology, but like a good chunk of their population don't know how to read shit like that.
Interesting. You could have like a giant war happened, right? And if we're realistic and humanity colonized Mars, probably it'd be separated amongst countries. So it's very split, We have a big war. And Earth is like, after the war, Earth's like in, shambles, that they're trying to get it all together. And the people don't really care about what happened on Mars. And Mars got like destroyed to hell. That's where like all the real big fighting was.
Yeah.
Because people didn't really want to damage Earth, but people didn't care about Mars.
It wasn't terraformed.
So you have like huge craters and experimental bombs that went off everywhere.
Like
crazy
weird
fancy nuclear weapons.
Genetic monsters and shit like
possible.
that.
And so it's like a breeding ground for like mutations and weird technology.
And maybe it's like and then like technology and shit was lost, or like knowledge was lost, and it's like there's some there's like people that's like, we don't know if it's an alien or if it's a human being that's been heavily mutated. Like, we just don't know. So it's just whatever. We don't care. It's fine. You know, we all hang out. Maybe our story starts... I'm going to say a first name, you're going to say a second name, okay?
Okay.
Winthrop.
Laundrick.
Okay, Winthrop Laundrick. It's a long name. I like it. Is part of, like, a scavenging crew, or, like, one of the first, you know, the first, like, big arc of people being sent from Earth to Mars.
You call him Whinny for short.
We'll call him Whinny. Oh, yeah, that's great. From Earth to Mars for, like, you know, scouting reasons or whatever. For whatever, maybe he's a prisoner. Whatever reason, you know, the big arc of people is being sent, you know, either to Mars or to the moon or to a different planet. Maybe it's to a prison planet or something like that.
Yeah.
And it gets shot down, or he lands on Mars. You know, he gets to Mars, and he's like, I can start a new life here, because this planet is basically just, you know.
Okay, I like that. So this is our protagonist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think a prison planet would be cool. So he's going to a prison planet. Which planet in our solar system could be a planet?
Well, let's say
planet?
Jupiter.
Like,
let's say that Jupiter...
You can't go to Jupiter. Maybe a moon. One of Jupiter's moons.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't live on Jupiter, you know?
Yeah. But Jupiter, yeah.
Maybe there's a gas... Okay, maybe it could be like
gas
Bespin
mining.
in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have like a floating city above the planet.
Yeah,
That's where the prison is. It's a huge complex, and they use it as like a mining base to mine gas, and they force prisoners to mine there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the worst place in the galaxy to go.
Mm-hmm.
And he got sent there. Let's not make him a bad guy.
We can make him...
for like some white collar crime.
Let's say he robbed something. Let's say he robbed a space train.
Robbed a space train.
Well, no,
Okay.
that's a little too... We did a Western last week. Well, let's say... Let's say he was...
Political dissident. So he disagreed with the politics of somebody, and he got thrown in. Maybe he participated in a demonstration against the war.
Yeah. Or maybe he refused to fire on some people.
Conscientious objector.
Yeah.
Of the war. I like that.
And then...
Do you like that?
Yeah, because it's the, you know, horrible future. It's like, oh, you're a conscientious objector? That's going to be 20 years in the hole.
Yeah, that's like one of the worst things, because that's considered treason.
Yeah.
So he goes to, you know, this planet for 30 years or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, the average lifespan is you live maybe 5 years. Like, that's how long people survive. But they need the gas.
And in the pilot, maybe you could talk about how, like, they could talk about how Mars has been destroyed, and it's now like
it's an uninhabited wasteland filled with, like, monsters.
Because during the war, it was all messed up.
Yeah.
And the current, like, protectorate government or whatever
is, like, pumping propaganda out that Mars is, like, just a wasteland filled with monsters and, like, savage
stuff. Yeah.
Like,
and they're, like, very tyrannical, and they're all that's left of, like, the Earth governments.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so Winthrop flying in a little spaceship going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
How does it get knocked out of the sky?
Well, maybe he's like, it's like a huge, like, thousands of people just shoved into like little thing, you know, on a chair.
Yeah.
And then, you know, let's say that there's a gang. There's like a space gang, or not a space gang.
In the prison?
There's on Mars. They're like, the planet, you know, uses Mars's gravity to propel itself. The ship uses Mars's gravity to propel itself to the prison. Let's come up with a name for the prison. Calrissians. Calrissian.
No, we can't do that.
Why not?
Because it's Star Wars. It's exactly. We could
It's fun. Let's call it Lucas.
I was trying to think of some sort of way to similarly relate it to Alcatraz, because it's, you know, it's the biggest.
Traz.
It's like an island prison like Alcatraz.
Yeah,
we call Alcatraz to New Alcatraz.
Let's just call it Traz.
Traz. We call it, I like that. Yeah, just call it Traz.
Yeah. So he's going to Traz, and, you know, maybe there's some very important people who are on the ship that are flying it, like some guys with some real knowledge, you know?
Yeah.
And there's
and maybe they got some cargo as well that's valuable.
Yeah. And so there's a group on Mars. There's like, well, if we get this guy who's on this prison planet, he can help us, like, genetically engineer more plants to grow food here, or genetically.
Yeah, that could be a big problem on Mars. They don't have food.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a big shipment of food on it as well.
Mm-hmm. And
they have. Okay, I got it. So we have big shipment of food, and we have but what is it called? Botanologist, botanical.
But what's the fuck?
We'll just say biologist. I don't know.
Botany. Botanologist.
Person.
But
Botanologist. Something like that. Botany guy, all right? Botany guy is on here. Botanist, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We got a botanist, and he's going to, the fucking Traz.
Yeah.
The prison, because, they need a new botanist, because the last one has, diarrhea or something.
He's got diarrhea of the mouth. He said
Can't work.
He said something, and then he got shot in the face. So then,
Can't work. For some reason they need a new one, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the last one died. That'd probably make more sense.
He got drowned.
Yep. And because they need food.
He killed himself with 2 bullets to the back of his head.
2 bullets. Ooh, suspicious. So that's why they want to shoot down the thing. And so that's why it gets shot down.
It should get shot
A
down.
lot of the prisoners die, maybe. So, because we don't want to suddenly have 1 billion prisoners on Mars.
No, it's I think.
But we can have a couple. Maybe we can set up one prisoner as someone that hates Whinny.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has a enemy he can meet later. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe Winthrop is. I'm thinking all right, they're flying the huge prison ship. It gets shot through a rail gun, fires through the side of the ship where all the prisoners are. So they're all just everyone's being sucked into the vacuum of space as the ship goes down. Winthrop is holding on to this guy's arm because, he's trying not to let him fall out into space, And maybe the guy, he lets go because he's got to hold on for himself. And he's like, well, it's me or him.
It's me or you, and I don't want to die.
He lets him go. He falls through. It looks like maybe he goes into space, or he falls through, the ship and hits something else and dies. And Winthrop lands, and he crawls out of the wreckage. He's like, "Holy shit! How did I survive that?" And gets shot at because they're
Yeah, because they're waiting at the bottom because they want to, get all this stuff. And they don't care about the prisoners. They were just going to execute them and move on.
So
we have a cool, maybe he runs away.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine he steals, a desert hover bike.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that'd be cool to have, hover bikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe he above the ground. Gets away. He gets shot at. He runs back into the ship, launches, an escape pod at them. So they just get squished by an escape pod.
Yeah.
He steals a hover bike and rides it out and does a sick wheelie jump.
But it's there's no wheels because it's a hover bike.
Yeah, but okay, he does a sick single hover.
Yeah.
He does a single pad and rides.
Sort of jets off into the sky, and because it's a hover bike, it will slowly go down.
Yeah.
But it sort of maintains the altitude for a little bit, so he's up in the air. Mm-hmm. He's woo or something, hoorah, And as a classic happy line because he what he did was cool. And
maybe he's holding his breath because he thinks that Mars doesn't have any sort of atmosphere, so he's I'm gonna die. And and
he's constantly clawing at his skin because he'd been told it's toxic and it'll burn you and stuff.
Yeah. And then he lands, maybe the bike crashes or explodes because he hasn't been on one ever in his entire life.
Yeah.
And he lands, he's injured, more injured. He was already injured. He's injured. He's just crawling through walking through the desert, holding himself together with his hands. And he's just would have thought I would have died by now.
Yeah.
This air is pretty breathable. Honestly, better tasting air than most of California.
At home. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, he passes out, wakes up, he's being dragged,
Yeah, classic, dimly lit camera of the eyes barely being open.
Mm-hmm.
You can see his foot being pulled, and you can see somebody in desert clothing.
A really huge person in desert clothing and looks back at him, and they've got really big goggles,
massive goggles that are tinted black, so you can't see their eyes.
And he gets put into a caravan, and he comes to into in a Martian caravan, and he's being cared for by their doctor. And their doctor is I haven't seen a pure blood human in over 50 years or whatever. And he's putting them together, and it's like, sorry if I don't get everything right. I'm not used to working with all these extra bits.
Yeah, your blood's a little different.
Yeah.
So it's hard to...
Your blood's different. You have a few extra organs.
It's not irradiated like, ours or something.
Mm-hmm. And so he's like, he comes to, he's like, what's going on? I thought Mars was like uninhabitable. And they're like, yeah, that's just some bullshit that they tell you because, they don't want you moving up here. This is where all their vacation homes are, all right?
No. It's like, what would be the reason why they don't want people to go to Mars?
Well, maybe it's like there's a large population on Mars, but...
And they don't want to, have a question, like people questioning their authority.
Yeah.
So, if they have to combat with Mars.
And, like, Earth rebellion, they might, like, fall. So they're just like, we're just going to leave Mars be for right now, and we'll go, we'll deal with Earth, and then we'll deal with Mars.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or hoping they'll just, like, extinct each other out of existence before the Protectorate has to deal with them, just because,
It could be like some, speciesist tension as well. Maybe the humans or the Protectorate don't like these, like, non-pure blood humans because they're all radiated and mutated and such.
Yeah, and so there's, like, all this propaganda on Earth that's like, this is what happens to people who go to Mars. This is what people look like on Mars, and they're like,
instead of saying it's inhabitable, they could just say it's like it's a wasteland. There's like crazy monster creatures, and stuff,
and mutant people, and they're all savages and shit like that.
Yeah, they're not humans anymore. They just fucking eat stuff. And so we can have a moment where he like freaks out when he sees the doctor. Yeah, right? He panics. And
are you eating my guts?
He's like, oh no, you're gonna eat me? He's like, no, I'm a doctor.
Doctor looks at him and is like, what? Dude, no one here wants to eat you. You look fucking gross, all right? No. We've got plenty of Mars cows. What will we call them?
Borks.
Okay, we got plenty of borks. You want some bork milk? And they get...
Because it's like, pork, but with a B instead.
Yeah. And it's
Borks.
like bark, but with an O.
They're like mutated, like cow pig hybrid
pig dogs
with lots of fur.
Yeah. And maybe they ride them.
They also ride them. Yeah. Borks are like the domesticated.
They're the donkeys of this universe.
They're like a Swiss Army knife of animals.
Yeah.
You can eat them. You can ride them.
You can milk them.
They're good for pulling carts.
Yeah, they're great.
You can milk them. They're good for everything. Borks are like the not sustainable. Like they're the diet of people. Yeah. It's the main.
The Martian diet.
Life.
I get it. I dig it. And maybe they have fun. Maybe they lay eggs and they have funny eggs.
Yeah.
Even though
these
they milk.
Things do everything. They have eggs. They have milk. You can eat them.
Yeah, and they're like, we don't know where they came from. They may have just evolved from being on Mars. They may have been genetically engineered by scientists in the past, but we just like
and then you could have them eat sand.
Yeah.
So instead of grazing grass like normally, they eat sand, and that's how they survive. Somehow sand is good for them.
Yeah, they gain all the bacteria.
Their body can digest the minerals in the sand, and so they can survive.
They're like, oh yeah, they feed off of radiation, so the irradiated sand. On the planet Mars, they love it. It's their favorite thing.
It's just fucking great.
And you find out later, it's like, oh no, they want grass. They can live off sand, but they want grass, just because grass is good. It tastes better. But there's no grass on Mars, man.
So they eat sand.
So he gets into town. He's dragged into town, and they're like, "What's up?" He's like, "Who are you guys?" They're like, "We're." Some of them are people, some of them are Martian people, and they're like, we're refugees, descendants of people who were left here to die by the Protectorate or by the U.S. government or by the Chinese government or whatever.
Yeah, after the war, whatever government had different parts.
Yeah,
because all those governments are gone now, so it's not like they left them. It's like those governments don't exist anymore. So,
maybe. Some of them are like, well, my parents were astronauts who were left in space and managed to make it to Mars, but the Protectorate never answered any of our calls for help. We sent out hundreds of thousands of SOSs, no one ever responded. We thought that maybe
Earth was gone.
Earth was gone, and then we started seeing these prison ships fly by, and we realized they just don't care about us anymore.
Yeah.
So we don't care about them. And then,
maybe they dump their trash on Mars too.
Yeah, that would be good.
So that's how Mars gets sort of materials and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they get a bunch of trash.
Yeah.
Or processed material goods. Because they have natural resources, of course, on Mars, but they don't have.
They don't have water as much. At least they don't have as much water.
Well, they have. Doesn't Mars have frozen water or something?
Yeah.
So maybe they have ice, and you have to dig under the sand to get to the ice, which would be cool. And then they have to break the ice, and then they melt it and then drink it.
Maybe their ice has a different melting point than Earth ice for whatever reason. I don't know.
That'd be cool. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it'd be cool.
Yeah, you put it on a fire and it takes 10 minutes to melt an ice cube. And actually we use plasma fire for that.
Yeah, maybe you could say on Mars, ice has a very high in temperature freezing point. So it freezes at 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
70 degrees Fahrenheit. And it melts. You need to get it really hot. You have to estimate 120. So it takes a while to burn it.
Yeah.
And we could explain that through it's not actually water. It's something else. It's fake water.
Yeah, it's genetically engineered water.
Some special water.
Yeah,
right?
special Mars water. Why are you asking so many questions, Whinny? Jesus, you just saved your life. Why do you care so much about the water? God.
They have some weird Martian salt that changes the freezing point, because you know how salt does that with water.
Yeah,
so
obviously.
We could say it's some weird Martian salt or something. I don't know. We're spending way too much time trying to explain.
The magic water. Yeah. So maybe there's all right. What should the series plot be? What should they be trying to do, hoping to accomplish?
Do they want to escape Mars? Maybe he wants to escape Mars.
Maybe, yeah.
And
maybe he's
you can have a plot
Mars.
that because there's no ships off Mars, right? And the only ones they can get are the ones they shoot down, but they're broken. So
Yeah.
So maybe the idea is that, because I like the idea of long journeys across the planet. I don't know if you like that, but it'd be cool to see, Whinny go across the entire planet, meeting different societies and monsters and stuff, as he chases down a rumor of a ship being somewhere.
Maybe at the poles, one of the poles, one ship landed in the ice.
Yeah.
Or landed in what was once water and then has frozen over into ice. And so it's supposedly a perfectly intact spaceship that is, just waiting to be, brought out of the ice and flown off to somewhere. And maybe he's I don't want to go back to Earth. They fucking hate me there. I'm trying to go to Saturn.
Maybe we could give him a reason. So maybe he has a family or something and he wants to go back to it.
Yeah.
Because he needs to have a reason that he wants to leave.
That's right. I think it should be a selfish reason.
Selfish
the
reason.
first, because I think the whole series should be about him being the guy who he'll grab onto your hand when you're falling out of a spaceship, unless it puts him in danger, and then he'll let go.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the series, he's I'll sacrifice myself to save this person. It's about him becoming a better guy. And so maybe it's he's he's got thousands stashed away in on Earth somewhere. Maybe he did get away with a white collar crime, and he's hidden away millions and millions of credits or dollars or whatever, units of currency. Okay, can our currency be called current?
Current?
Yeah, I got 15 current.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I think that's cool because it's our current currency, because currency runs out so fast.
I got you.
I dig it. You just sounded so done. I get it.
I don't know.
I know. Current currency. I know.
I understand the idea.
So it's I've got thousands hidden away, offshore accounts, so I can, if I find that, I will be able to negotiate my way into maybe there's a planet that's where all the really rich people go.
Yeah.
And it's Venus or somewhere, Mercury, I don't know. Now Mercury is a power planet because it's the closest to the sun, so it's just covered the entire planet is covered in solar panels and is worked by these guys in like huge suits, and it's like that's the second worst place to be.
Yeah, maybe it's Venus would be cool because it's got a cool name.
Yeah.
So maybe there's like, you know, cool cities in the clouds of Venus.
Yeah.
Though the clouds are toxic, so
The-
maybe not Venus, because Venus is like actually a very awful place, isn't it?
Yeah. Neptune.
Neptune's cool.
What's the one
It's pretty
that's-
far out there, so it's cold. But you know, we could just say they have heating.
Yeah, they're making the
They have giant like terraformed domes on Venus that people live in.
yeah, and all
So
the
they live
power
in
that comes from
huge domes.
Traz is sent directly
Sent
to
Neptune.
Neptune. Yeah,
Yeah, Neptune's a cool name too. So
it is.
works.
And he's like, I gotta, you know, if I am able to get back to Earth, I will be able to buy my way onto, you know, a one-way ticket to Neptune, and I'll be good. And so he's like, you know, whatever. That's good with me. And maybe there's, you know, there's a Martian person, let's say a Martian lady, who's like, you know, I'm happy to go with you because I'm tired of this one-horse town. I want to see the world. It's like, are you sure? Because, like, seeing the world sounds pretty good, but are you sure you want to see this world? This world seems kind of shitty. And
it's pretty dangerous.
yeah, there's monsters and shit, right? And you're like, yeah, there's monsters everywhere. But, you know, it's fine. We got guns. And he's like, guns? And they're like, look at all these guns. And they show off all these guns. And maybe, like, guns have been completely taken away from the populace. Like, unless you are in the government, like in the military, you've never seen a gun before, unless it's being pointed at you. So he's like, ooh, I get to use guns.
Yeah, and they're all like weird guns, you know, because they don't have the access to like, you know, fancy, sleek new weapons that the Protectorate produces on Earth.
Yeah.
They have like older, you know, pre-war and war weapons that are probably more devastating than the weapons that are used on Earth, because, you know, these were meant to kill tons of people.
Yeah, and
So
then
you got crazy like electric guns that, you know, fry a person and all the people around them, because it, you know, shoots one electric bolt and then it hits everyone around it after it hits that person.
yeah, or maybe
Stuff
it's
like,
like
that, you know, crazy sci-fi stuff.
or they've got like guns that like, oh, we built these guns, you know, we built this blaster from, you know, 6 different blasters because we found like
it's just
a bunch of broken
variety
ones.
of parts. Yeah.
And he's like, okay, and it's like, there's a chance it'll blow up in your hand. You know, it's a chance you take.
You click, and then that could be something that happens later. Like they'll be like, if you know, don't pull back the trigger and pull back the bolt and pull the trigger at the same time, because then it will fry it and it's gonna explode in 3 seconds after that. If you do it, throw it.
Yeah.
And maybe later in the show he can use that to like, you know, cause an explosion to kill a monster or something.
Yeah, or maybe he's like being held hostage by this guy, and he's like, just pull the thing back and it'll like make it even better or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy's just like captured him. He's been captured by a gang, and you know,
He thinks the gun's cool, and he's like, "This is awesome."
yeah. Maybe there's a like a dip. There's, you know, ballistic weaponry and light-based weapons, right? So like ballistics are for the really poor, and like that's what pirates and bandits and raiders use because they're cheap, they're easy, and you know, they have a very easy way of making bullets now, but they don't work.
Maybe
as
they
well.
have like a really basic weapon that's just like a boomstick, they call it.
Yeah.
And it's like you just toss a bunch of gunpowder into this stick. You drop, you know, some shrapnel or like, you know, bullet casings, whatever metal you can.
Yeah.
And then you like slap the bottom of it and it fires the shot.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a cool visual.
So
that's like a really basic weapon that you run across a lot in the wild.
Because, you know,
Boomsticks.
the bandits aren't able to get their hands on any sort of advanced technology, and if they do, they usually kill themselves with it. And so, you know.
But they all have like ballistic weapons. I like that.
Yeah. And so that's what's like going on. So it's Whinny, and what's this Martian woman's name? Let's call her Venus.
Venus?
de Milo.
Okay.
Let's call her Venus de Milo.
We call her Minerva, like the Greek goddess, or the Roman goddess of wisdom.
Yeah,
Minerva.
okay, Minerva. Minerva de Milo. Let's say that. I mean, like
Minerva, not Minerva. Minerva.
Minerva. Okay, her name's...
That sounds better than Minerva.
Minerva Mink.
Minerva.
Minerva. All right, her name's Minerva, and she's got a pork, a bork. She's got a bork that is like her best friend.
His name is Walls.
His name is... Let's name him after like an Earth celebrity, because they're just like
Channing Tatum.
Yes, there we go. His name is Channing Tatum. He's the best bork that a girl could ask for.
Yep, and it's played by Channing Tatum too.
Yeah, but it doesn't talk. It just goes.
No, but it's like all the grunts and stuff.
Yeah, they're Channing Tatum. That'd be pretty good. Channing Tatum as Channing Tatum. That'd be pretty
Keanu
fun.
Reeves. We could call it Keanu.
He would definitely do it too. You know he would. Mm-hmm. He'd have a blast with it.
Okay, no, I got the best one.
Mm-hmm.
We call it Ringo Starr, and we have Ringo Starr play it.
Yes, that sounds great.
Then we can just call it Ringo.
Yeah, Ringo. And then, throughout the series, they're constantly like, yeah, the drummer for Guns N' Roses, Ringo Starr. The drummer for
Nirvana.
Ringo Starr, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the best. And then Ringo, the Borker's just like, Because I think it would be good.
Because it knows somehow.
I think it would be good if later on in the series we realized that the Borks are actually intelligent. Like they can telepathically communicate with each other. But they're just like, yeah, I'm happy. I eat sand. I get rid. I get milked. I'm living fine. So that'd be good if the Borks were,
And they don't mind being eaten.
They're like, well, we're either gonna get eaten by these guys who are gonna take care of us, or we're gonna get eaten by fucking sandworms or sand sharks or whatever. Because they're not.
They have like a certain worldview. These Borks, where like they want to die at a certain age. They're like, once I hit 10, kill me.
Yeah, I'm good. And that'd be good. I think that'd be cool. And then they're like, they get not a caravan, maybe they recruit somebody else, like a tracker or somebody who's been all around the planet, like a Martian hunter, maybe Minerva.
Call him, he's
Butch.
I like Butch.
Yeah.
Butch Cassidy.
Yeah.
And the Sundance Kid. So we got Butch, the Martian hunter.
Yeah, Minerva, who's half Martian, half Earthling, and she's like, I want to see the world. And then we have Whinny, who is... I'm imagining these Martians are like 7 feet tall. And
really? Okay.
And then Whinny's like... He's 5'10". Like, he's just a normal guy height. So he's just like, hey, what's up? How's the weather up there? And maybe Minerva is like 6 foot something. Because she's not all the way Martian, but she's pretty Martian. So,
Half Martian.
Half Martian. So
that could be like a reoccurring thing, is that, other Martians, bully her and are like, you're a fucking half Martian. And, she'll shoot them in the bar or whatever.
Yeah, she kicks them right in the nuts. Like, you still have that, don't you, Earthling?
Well, she'll blow their head off or something, and they'll be like, well, now you're half a Martian.
Oh, yeah, that'd be funny. It'd be good if she sliced a guy in half and was like, you're half a Martian now, bitch. But,
Boom.
Martians can survive without their lower half for like 2 days. So there's just
They're like chickens.
Yeah, there's just a guy who's walking around on his arms. He's like, he managed to survive the ordeal for the rest of his life, so he's just like, what's up? I walk on my hands. I'm really ripped. Walk on my hands. That sort of thing.
And then he dies.
And then he gets shot in the face because he calls Minerva like a half Martian. And he's like, you're...
Again.
Yeah. Blam.
You're literally a half Martian, though. Like, you're literally half a Martian.
Yeah. Maybe he is just as tall as Whinny when he's on his arms. Like,
wow, so this guy must have been huge.
Yeah, he's real tall. Yeah, well, they've got really long limbs, I imagine the Martians have really long limbs.
Very lanky people.
Yeah.
Not tall.
Because the gravity is less. And I think it would be cool if we had some fight scenes, like, they're,
Oh, with, like, the low gravity.
They're, like, they're riding, on, like, a dune buggy through the desert. Maybe there's, like, some serpent like style animal that's going through the sand, you know, and then like out of nowhere hover ships come out of nowhere, and it's like little buoys that have sails and hover, and like they've got pirates on them, and you know they have to Whinny, because the gravity is much lower for him, like for Minerva and Butch.
Oh, I see. So he can like jump high and stuff or something.
The gravity is normalized, so they just like
maybe he has, because when you're in lower gravity and you're not used to it, we could say like he doesn't have super strength, but he has like increased strength. You know what I mean? Because everything's lighter for him.
Yeah, so he like can jump like 20 feet, land on a boat, shoot a guy, kick another guy in the face, you know, steal their boat, fly it into another one, jump out of the way at the same time. It'd be cool.
Yeah. He's like kind of a superhero-ish.
A little bit, but he's like...
But not really. It's just more like enhanced, not superhero.
Yeah.
Fully.
Like if you know that, like, but I feel Butch could still kick his ass if he wanted to. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he's one, when he, you know, people don't expect much from him because he's short and he's, you know, he's a human. He's an earthling. You know, whatever. And so he's jumping around, he's kicking people's asses. Maybe Martians are longer lived. Like the average Martian lifespan is like 200 years or something.
Oh, okay.
So like it would make more sense that, you know, they haven't seen a full-blooded human in a very long time, even though there are half humans among them. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, well, the humans die at like 80. If they like lead a really good life, they die by 80. You know, we live to 200 and something. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe there's like a superiority complex amongst them where they think they're better than humans because they've mutated and evolved.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, when he's jumping around, he's hitting guys. He gets back on the motorcycle. I would think it'd be funny if, like, every time he got onto a hover bike, he crashed it, you know? Yeah,
it always ends the same way. He never successfully parks it, except maybe near the end of the show, and he's very excited.
Yeah, he like does it. He like drifts into a thing and like knocks a guy over and jumps off of it. I'm just imagining.
Yeah, and it explodes or something.
Yeah, and he's like, God damn it! Why do these things explode? They don't even have gasoline. There's nothing flammable in there. Never mind.
And they're like, well, they're powered by like
I don't care. I don't
core.
care. I don't care. It's fine. Just.
And then he's like, wait, did you say nuclear? Are you telling me I'm sitting on like a bomb?
Yeah, it's
like, well, I mean, like not exactly, but like, you know, it could.
It's irradiating your nads. It's right below the seat. He's like, have I been straddling a nuclear reactor for the last 2 hours? I mean,
like, well, you know, maybe.
I mean, straddling it is a strong word. But
you said side saddle, so, you know.
Yes.
It's kind of,
you know. That'd be fun. And then there's adventure. And then they're like going around, they're fighting monsters, they're making friends, they're solving problems for people, you know, doing post-apocalyptic stuff. I think it would be cool if they like discovered some ancient Martian, you know, like structures and stuff. And it's not really, it's ambiguous as to whether or not this is Martian, like Martians, not evolved humans. These are like actual aliens that, you know, went extinct.
Yeah, there's like an ancient Martian society.
Or it could be humans, like, because most knowledge has been lost, you know, after the war. It's like, maybe this is an ancient government lab, but it's like, no, this is the Martians. Space Martians and shit like that, and they like find some cool weaponry, or maybe they find a cool horse or a cool car or something. I don't know. They get to the frozen north of the poles. Maybe it's snowing, but the snow is a different color. You know, like
pink snow.
Yeah, or like dark
like
red.
You know how like salt is like is pink underneath or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be like a pink snow.
Yeah. All right. So it's snowing pink, and they're like,
it doesn't need to make sense.
They're getting, you know, they get wrapped up in like heavy stuff. Maybe Butch takes off his like gear because it's not like sandy anymore, so he doesn't need like the eye coverings as much.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be snow. Maybe it could be like, it could be salt.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That would be cool.
But then it's still gotta be cold. Because I like that scene in Last Jedi where that's like, you know, when they're riding in the
With the horses in the casino. I remember you were telling me about it was your favorite scene of any movie ever.
No. In the scenes where they're on like the salt planet or whatever, and they're riding over the salt and it's like flying up and it's like pink and stuff.
That would be cool.
It's cool.
If there was like salt was falling from the sky, they don't know why. Maybe it's like there's some chemical reaction creates sodium in the air.
Yeah.
You know. And that's
we don't have to explain.
We don't really have to explain. It's space. It's whatever.
Yeah, because it's cold up there. It like freezes the molecule together. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
We just make up shit. I know that doesn't scientifically make any sense, but
yeah. But then they get to there and they find that there's excavation set up by the bad guy, the guy he let die, the guy Whinny like let go of in the spaceship.
Oh,
he's like started a gang. He's taken like the surviving prisoners, and he's like he killed all of the guys because maybe that guy was like a murderer. You know, these guys were like violent criminals.
Yeah.
Put in the same place as Whinny, who's a financial advisor or something.
Yeah, he just like took some money or something. He embezzled.
Yeah, and so
or maybe committed a political crime as well. I don't know.
Who knows? And then so they've like started this gang, and they've been like. Maybe throughout the series.
I got it. Conscientious objector who has embezzled for years. That's why he wants to go back to get his money.
Yeah.
But he was about to get drafted, and he was like, "No, I can't." So he lied about being a conscientious objector because he thought that would
he like
be an excuse to like get out of it because he's seen other people do that. But really, it's just like a political lie. Like it's like if you're actually a conscientious objector, like under our Constitution, that's okay. But in reality, we're sending you to prison.
Yeah. Maybe it's like he filled out a form online. Like there was a computer as like all these different like reasons you can't fight. And it was like, well, they, have a big exterminating people with physical or mental ailments. So I don't want to start that. So I'll be a conscientious objector. He just gets like a bag put over his head and he gets like...
But I like the idea of that he's not actually a conscientious objector. It's just that he wanted to get out with his money.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to get back so he can get to his money. So he can get to Neptune where it's safe and happy and stuff.
Yeah. And so he's like, maybe they've been hearing about this gang of like outlaws and murderers that have been like tearing their way across the planet. And they're like, oh God.
Maybe they've run into remnants of them before. Like they run into like sub parts of the gang.
Yeah. Or
not the whole main gang, but like
or Butch is like
a couple members of the what's the name of the ship? Because maybe we could name it after the ship.
No.
The prison ship. It could be like the Dawn.
Yeah. All right.
And the gang is called
the New Dawn.
The New Dawn.
Yeah. And so it's like maybe Butch is like, oh yeah, we're going to this town. I'm good friends with the mayor. Or, we'll get free food. We'll get a warm bed to sleep in. And it's like, all right, great. And then they get there, the whole place is burnt down. They're like, what happened? And it's like, the new dawn is rising. And then they die, And they're, he's like, what the hell? And Butch maybe has like an emotional moment,
Yeah, because this was like his home or something.
Yeah. And so they're like, all right, we got to resupply and then we got to fucking go, And so they get there. There's already like this big excavation thing going on. Maybe they picked up another person along the way. Maybe not. Who knows? And then they get captured by the New Dawn. It's revealed who the New Dawn's leader is. That guy. We'll name him
that guy,
Richard Nixon. His name's Richard M. Nixon.
We could call him Millhouse because that's Richard Nixon's middle name.
No, it's great.
And then we'll call him Mill for short.
Yeah.
Millhouse Mill.
Yeah, Millhouse Mill. Okay. And so it's like, he explains what goes on, then they're captured and they're like forced to mine. And then there's like a daring escape. And he's like, Whinny has to fight all these guys who basically have the same enhancements as him because they're all Earthlings. So he's like...
Yeah, he loses his edge.
Yeah, he throws a punch and it's just like it's a normal punch. And he's not like... He's not he's not like he was a boxer on Earth. He was a financial, he was an investment banker or whatever. And so he's like really scared. And then they have to come up with like a cool plan and maybe Whinny starts running away. I think that would be good if it was like a Han Solo moment where like Whinny steals not a hover bike because he keeps he steals a hover bike and he like, you know, takes as many supplies as he can carry and he, you know, gets on it and he starts like driving away in the middle of the night. And Butch is like, I'm gonna kill these sons of bitches, you know, because they blew up my town. And Minerva is like, you know, I'm with you. You know, we've been through a lot. I thought Whinny was gonna be, you know, not a sack of shit, but I guess you can't trust humans. At the end of the day, you just can't trust humans. So they're like, all right, we're going in guns blazing, you know, with some explosives and some sort of thing. And then they, you know, get there. There's a big firefight, and maybe like they're pinned down or whatever. What's his name? Whinny like does another sick jump and lands
just like the pilot episode, calling back.
Yeah, lands the hover bike, jumps off of it, or maybe he doesn't jump off of it. He lands it and he actually parks it successfully. It's the only time it doesn't explode. And he like drops some bombs, starts shooting people. He's there saving their lives. They're like, Whinny! And he's like, get to cover, blam, 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 blam. And, you know, they all dive behind cover. They're like, what? Well, thanks for coming back, but now we're all gonna die together, and that's something. And he's like, maybe not so. And he, like, presses a button. He set up this bomb that, you know, before he showed up, he set up this bomb, and it, like, knocks down some ice, or some salt, and, like, crushes them, or something.
Yeah, maybe they're near, like, a big salt mountain.
Yeah, and it destroys the ship. Maybe in the avalanche. He's like, you know, thanks, you know, for saving us, but you ship, you'll never get home. And it's like, it's all right. That's, you know, it's I didn't really have all that much.
I'm already home.
We don't say that. That's lame. He said, like, I already have, you know, I'm happy here. I'm cool. I'm chilling, you know. And they're like,
yeah, that's what he says. This is like that. I'm happy here. I'm cool. I'm chilling.
Yeah, and it's like, let's.
And all three of them walk into the desert.
Yeah.
You know,
like Jaws.
You see their backs, cool, you know, shot of like their coats fluttering in the wind as the guns are over their shoulders.
Yeah, and the Bork comes and catches up with them. And it's like, we thought you died or something. Like he got trapped behind something. And it was like, we thought you went. And he didn't. He just runs up and he's all happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, you know, the end of the show. What song should we play at the end? Ghost Riders in the Sky. Like that. Something like that.